Alright, Shalom Yasharala. Before we go into this lesson, we give all honor, all glory, and all praises be to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakodash. We give double honor to the apostles and prophets and elders of JMS Camp, better known as Great Millstone, for the before the 100% truth that have been currently edified under. Shalom to the elect, the tabernacle of David, and I am Brother Zacharias coming through this lesson. Now, the title of the lesson is Who Else Salvation is For? And that's a genuine question, because when they go through all the scriptures from Old into the New, even in the Apocrypha, it outlines one specific group that was scattered amongst these nations, and that same group that is amongst these nations is going to be gathered back together, and they shall be saved from their enemies right throughout the scriptures. But yet we have so-called Christians believing that all could be saved and trying to add in the enemies that is mentioned that we are going to be saved from. So which is it? Is it your words, or is it the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai? Which is it? Because let's start simply in Psalm chapter 14. Let's get a precept. Psalm in the regular Bible, King James Version, and verse 7, and it goes into say, it says what? Oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion. Here's the point. When Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. And why is that? Because when he bring that captivity back onto the children of Israel, which came to pass already, then that will be the last sign as to where we now are going to be saved, where Yahweh is going to come and deliver us from the enemies and all of them that hate us, as mentioned from Zacharias himself, when he was filled with the Rakakodash. Let's get another precept to add to that. Let's get a precept again. Let's see if we can add some more substance with this precept. And verse 6, it says what? Okay, same thing. Let me read it. The same thing. It says, oh, that the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion when power bringeth back the captivity of his people. See? Jacob shall rejoice and Israel shall be glad. Right? So it outlines who salvation is for. And when it says, salvation of Israel will come out of Zion when Yahweh bringeth the captivity of his people, Jacob, mainly because it was shown in the Torah as prophecy for their disobedience, what they are going to receive as curses in Deuteronomy chapter 20 and verse 68. A very main point to that, to show that we would have been brought back into captivity via ships, is in Deuteronomy 28 and verse 68. Straight to the point, it says, and Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now we know, according to this context, it's not referring to actual Egypt, but more so spiritual Egypt, which we know as Babylon the Great, America today. Because they hold many characteristics of what Egypt would have done and held before, as we understand. Not to mention the title, the definition of the word Egypt goes back to what? The house of bondage. And we know in the Americas, the southern kingdom as well as the northern kingdom were in captivity, very harsh captivity, until they were partially released, which we still are in captivity to this day. But it's not a harsh or grievous captivity as it once was. This is how we know this is referring to our prophecy, because back then, yet again, we hadn't went into Egypt via ships. It's merely a walking distance. Whereas in the Americas, to reach there, we had to go on ships. So by understanding by common sense, it would direct you to what took place in the transatlantic slave trade. So let's continue. It says, by the ways whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. That word goes back into what? Redeem. Buy back, or to redeem you. Right? And as we know, no man is going to redeem us in this time during this captivity, but who? Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is why Yahweh has to return, to remove us from the face of our enemies, to remove us from this captivity. that we are in today. So let us continue. This is and we're going back into the point who else salvation is for. Because we outline in the curses that we were going to be going to captivity under many nations. And we know the wicked, which is Esau, Edom, one of the the worst enemies that we could possibly go under, they would have treated us like next to nothing. So clearly we would need a savior. You see how Yahweh built it up in such a way that only the elect can understand this point, you know. That is why it says in Psalms 14 and verses 7, salvation of Israel will come out of Zion when Yahweh bringeth back the captivity of his people. It's a build-up process for us to be saved from the hands of them that hate us. That's why we always say it's a script. Because what did the Bible say? He declared the end from the beginning. It's a script. And who is in control of that script? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Let's continue. This is the main purpose of salvation. Is to save his people from the ways of these nations, and those that are it says those that are obedient unto his word are going to receive the blessings of Deuteronomy as well. But we got a precept to show you, if you hearken or come back to power, what would happen. In Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verses 27. Because many people don't understand that the blessings in Deuteronomy literally outlines the salvation of Israel. People think salvation, it comes out of the Torah and the law. When in the law it tells you, if you would keep my words or my statutes and my judgments, indeed, he's going to bless us with many things. And when you read part and part going down, you would realize that all these literally stamps our salvation. We would not have to worry about food. We would not have to worry about. We would have our own place. Like it would be ruler over everyone. It's in the Torah. We'll go into it. We have to show you that salvation, if it started off in the very Torah and it was given to the children of Israel, how could that now change? That's the point. Because before you go into the precept, let's get this precept. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verses 14, and it says, I know that whatsoever power doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. Power doeth it, that men should fear before him. So whatever he doeth is forever. So once saved, always saved. Once predestinated, always predestinated. So who the salvation was given to, if it was written in the very Torah for these people's obedience? That's the real question. And I know Christians cannot get this, but let's go back into the Deuteronomy to outline what will happen when we begin to obey. Let's read. It says, and Yahweh shall scatter ye among the nations, and ye shall be left few in numbers amongst the heathens. This is for all disobedience, by the way. It says, whether Yahweh shall lead you, and there ye shall serve gods with the works of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Listen to what it says. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahweh, thy power, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul, when thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahweh thy power, and shall be obedient unto his voice. For Yahweh thy power is merciful, is a merciful power. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. Right there, it tells you he's going to be merciful to these people, which he gave the covenant and the laws to, when they begin to obey again. This is where the salvation stems from. But for some reason, you all want to include the other nations as partaker of the covenants and the law too. Because by saying that they also are going to be saved, you are also saying that they are part and take of the law and the covenant given by from Yahweh Shemel to the children of Israel, which is a lie. Yet again. And you'll know you're lying. Yet again. Because let's read again. Let's read line upon line the blessings in Deuteronomy for the obedience of the children of Israel, and we can see in the salvation aspect where it comes from. The foundation of the salvation from it, which comes from Yahweh Shemel Shai, is in the Torah, in the laws. Let's read Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verses 1. It says, this is not my words, by the way. So let's read. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that Yahweh thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. Then Yahweh Shemel Shai promise the elect that they are going to be what? Above all nations upon the face of the earth, for their obedience unto him? Are we going to rule them with a rod of iron? Let's get a precept. This is why you think Psalms 199 is going to come to pass. Let's get straight to the point. It says what? Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of power be in their mouth, and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people. To his point, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. To execute the judgment written. To execute the judgment upon them. To execute upon them, so like the judgment written, this honor have all his saints, praise Yahweh. So by this point, see that we are binding their kings with chains, which means we are going to be ruling over them. To put them into captivity, it means we are going to be ruling over them as part of our salvation. By the way, let's keep going. Let's go back into Deuteronomy 28. It goes on to say, and all these blessings, let's keep going, and all these blessings shall come upon thee and overtake thee if thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy power. Blessed shalt thou be in the city, blessed shalt thou be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of thy body, which is your children, and blessed and the fruit of thy ground, and the fruit of thy cattle, which is what your food, the food supply, going into fruits, veggies, even to the animals that you would be mining. Example, it says, increase of thy kin, and the flocks of thy sheep. Blessed shall be thy basket and thy store. So we are going to have a never-ending amount of food. We would not have to worry about if our baskets are going to be empty, because we are going to be above everyone because of our obedience unto Yahweh Shemel Shai. And as mentioned, diligently hearkening unto the voice of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Let's keep going. So as we go into it, you are seeing where the salvation part stems. Every aspect of the blessings mentioned in Deuteronomy literally writes part of your salvation. Let's keep going. Blessed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and blessed shalt thou be when thou goest out. Here's the point. It says, Yahweh shall cause thine enemies that rise up against thee to be smitten before thy face. That's the point. They shall come out against thee one way and flee before thee 7 ways. Yahweh shall command the blessings upon thee in thy storehouse, and in all that thou settest thine hand unto, and he shall bless thee in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee. Need we continue? Because according to the scriptures, for a part of our salvation, we are going to be getting our land as our inheritance, and we are going to exceedingly multiply. We will be above all nations. They would come to be of servitude unto us. Yet you're seeing here, we are going to get our lands, we're going to have plentiful, we are going to be above all the people from on the earth. Come on. Let's keep going. And all people of the earth shall see that thou art called the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of thee. And Yahweh shall make thee plenteous in goods, and in the fruit of thy body, and in the fruit of thy cattle, and in the fruit of thy ground, in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers to give thee. Again. So when I ask a Christian what salvation really is, they don't understand salvation. They don't have a clue, an idea of what salvation is. So that is why you find them lumping the other nations with us to be saved. That's impossible. Even Esau knows he cannot be saved. Scripture says, let favor be shown to the wicked, and will he not learn righteousness? Who if he is talking about? Esau, Edom, the profane man. In the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly, and will not behold the majesty of power. He has no regard for Yahweh Shemashah or his ways. He doesn't give a damn because he has no purpose in that. That which scripture tells you the wicked shall do wickedly. So how could you lump somebody like that in with the children of Israel when it's already outlined that their destruction is going to come to pass? This is how we know you don't understand prophecy. This is how we know you don't understand what salvation really goes into. And no matter how much you try to show you, you will not understand. Hence the title of the lesson, who else salvation is for? Who else? It's written in your very laws. No wonder why you're trying to say the laws are done away with. To remove the aspect of the covenant and the law which is given to the children of Israel. To bring it to everyone so that everyone could be saved. But as far as we understand, the law is not done away with. Sorry. Not sorry. Let's keep reading. Yahweh shall open unto thee his good treasures, and the heaven to give the rain unto thy land in his season, and to bless all the work of thine hand, and thou shalt lend unto many nations, and thou shalt not borrow. Thou shalt not what? Borrow. One more time, thou shalt not what? Borrow. And Yahweh shall make thee the head and not the tail. Again, plain and proven point. And thou shalt be above only. One more time, above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. We are beneath right now. And the other heathen nations are above us. So how are they going to be saved with us when we need to be saved from them? Okay, before I blow fuse, let me continue. And thou shalt not go aside from any of the words which I command thee this day to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them. And we stop there because this one goes into the curses for those who are disobedient unto Yahweh Shemashah. So we see in the outline from Deuteronomy 29 verses 1 to 13, it gives a clear example and understanding of what salvation is going to be like. So the salvation in itself was written in the laws. Who were given the laws? Let's get that precept in Psalm, because we always get it in Deuteronomy and in Leviticus and Exodus. Psalms 147, let's get it in the NLT too, so you cannot, again, you can't disprove it. It's an undeniable fact. Let's read that precept. Straight up. Written in NLT after. Psalms 147 verse 19 and 20. He showed his words unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nation, and for his judgments they have not known them. Praise Yahweh. NLT. He has revealed his words to Jacob, his decree and regulations to Israel. He has not done this for any other nation. One more time. He hasn't done this for any other nation. They do not know his regulations. Praise Yahweh. This is why in Baruch, which scripture tells you, it's Baruch, is Ezra. Let me get a precept immediately. Get a precept before I continue. Ezra, 2nd Ezra chapter, I believe is 3, I believe, and 33. Like it. And yet, their reward, straight to the point, and yet there, for 32, it says, or is there any other people that knoweth thee beside Israel? Or what generation had so believed thy covenants as Jacob? And yet their reward appeareth not, and their labor had no fruit. For I have gone here and there through the heathen, and I have seen that they flow in wealth, and think not upon thy commandments. Weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and theirs also that dwell the earth, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. But where? In Israel. Let's keep reading. Or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name had kept thy precepts, and not the heathen, not by land, by name. So by understanding this, more and more as you go into it, you're already seeing where we're coming at. Alright? We already see where we're going into. Alright, like our next precept, Baruch chapter 3 and verses 35 and 36 to be exact. It says, this is our power, and there shall none other be accounted in comparison of him. He had found out all the ways of knowledge, and had given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved. So the knowledge, which is what the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is what the commandments, his ways, was given only to the children of Israel. Because even in Baruch chapter 4, like go from verses 4, it says, O Israel, happy are we for the things that are pleasing to power, and made known unto us. Be of good cheer, my people, the memorial of Israel. Understand? So, in other words, there are things that had to come to pass. We had to be delivered from our into the hands of our enemy, because these things must come to pass for our salvation to come, which we could get a precept. This is why in prophecy in Jeremiah chapter 29, again in verses 14, listen to what it says. Straight to the point, it says, and I will be found out of I will be found of you, saith Yahweh, and I will turn away your captivity, and I will gather you from all the nations and from all the places whither I have driven you, saith Yahweh, and I will bring you again into the place whence I caused you to be carried away captives. See, so He's the one who's going to deliver us. All of us are going to be, well, the elect itself is going to be gathered together. Right? Out of all these nations and out of all these countries where he had scattered us. For what? Our disobedience. When I go back into Baruch, before I continue to this, let's go back into Baruch. Chapter 4 and verses 6. It says what? Ye were sold to the nations, not for your destructions, but because ye moved the Most High to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For ye provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to power. Ye have forgotten the everlasting power that brought you up, and ye have grieved Jerusalem that nursed you. Understand? So, and this is what we have. This is what many of the children of Israel have done. As a nation, we have turned against Yahweh Shai and broke his holy covenant. But it's all a plan at the end of the day, because it's going to, with that now, as he raised up prophets to warn his people, the elect is going to receive that knowledge, and they are going to cleave unto the ways of the Father, and they themselves, which are predestinated, are going to be saved. We can get a precept in Micah chapter 4. Like that in verses 10. as an example, like, let's get it. It says, be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, which is Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field, which is what? Because Africa, to be exact, and Cush, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, America. There thou shalt be delivered, and there Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies. Wait now. Wait now. Wait now. One more time. Wait now. If this is prophecy to happen, and we, which is the Israelites that were in that captivity, that fled from Jerusalem to Cush, where we were sold and shipped across to America, or Asara to be exact. And the same us that went through that is going to be delivered. And Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of our enemies. How could we, our enemies, then still be saved? Please help me understand that. Because I can show you a direct reference as was mentioned in Luke, which I'm going to bring out matter of fact, let me bring it out right now. Let me get a precept in Luke. So how Luke chapter 1. We can start at verse 55, you know. We could jump up, I believe. Let's jump up. Well, I mean, we can read this. He had helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spake spake to our father Salah, Abraham, and to his seed forever. Right? Not seeds, seed, which is Isaac going on to Jacob. Let me read. So, jump down into verse 67. It says, we read this before, so y'all should know this by now. It says, and his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Spirit and prophesied, which means he would not be able to utter a lie, which means what he is saying here is surely going to come to pass, because it is the 100% truth. Blessed be Yahweh, power of who? Israel, for he had visited and redeemed his people, and had raised up an horn of salvation in the house of his servant David. See? And who is the horn of salvation? Come on, I don't want to hear Jake. I don't want to hear we answer. We tap plenty Christians being on we videos. I want to hear them answer. Who is that horn of salvation? And if you know who the horn of salvation is, which was mentioned to be in the house of his servant David, then you automatically would know who he comes for. That's why I asked the question. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. And we could outline that in Psalm chapter 83 and verses 2 to verses 8. All of our enemies that had a hand in our destruction with Esau, Edom, which is why Yahushua is coming to be our salvation against our enemies. This is what salvation really is going into, to save us from ourselves and to save us from the hands of our enemies. It's simple. This is not hard, really. This really isn't hard. Let's go back into Micah. We haven't done. I don't think we finished read it. Micah 1 verses 11, I believe. It says, now also many nations were gathered against thee, that say, let her be defiled, and let our eyes look upon Zion, but they know not the thoughts of Yahweh, neither understand they his counsel, for he shall gather them as the sheaves into the floor. Arise and thresh, O daughter of Zion, for I will make thine horn iron, and I will make thy foot brass, and thou shalt beat in pieces many nations, many people, and I will consecrate their grains unto Yahweh. If again, our reason in NLT, if you can understand. more, and their substance unto Yahweh of the whole earth. NLT immediately, because y'all need to understand more and more as we go into prophecy that the salvation could never be for any other nation if this is their shared judgment. If this is their shared, let me read it. Micah chapter 4 verses 12. Right? This is what we're going into, right? It says, no, verses 11. Now many nations have gathered against you. It says, let her be desecrated, they say. Let us see the destruction of Jerusalem. But they do not know that Yahweh's thoughts or understand his plan. These nations don't know that he is gathering them together to be beaten and trampled like sheaves of grain and a threshing floor. Arise up and crush the nations, O Jerusalem, says Yahweh, for I will give you iron horns and bronze hooves, so you can trample many nations to pieces. You will present stolen riches to Yahweh, their wealth to Yahweh of all the earth. Of where all the earth? Of where all the earth? All the earth. Direct prophecy. All the earth. So yet again, notice how the more you read into it, is the more you realize that it's not really, it ain't really for any other nation. The Holy Scripture says what? The kingdom that is given, the kingdom that is going to be given from Yahweh, it shall last forever. And this kingdom is not going to be given unto other people. It's not going to be given unto other nations. So there's only one people who's going to be governing and ruling that, and are going to be ruling all, which is who? The children of Israel. This is why we went into captivity. Now that we understand why we went into captivity, it more gives you a bright light in your mind. But I can't wait for we salvation. We gonna watch me. It is the vengeance of Yahweh Shai. We gonna be happy that He's going to avenge us in every way possible, and even make us avenge our own selves and be back on top. When everybody was laughing unto us, that's no longer going to happen. Remember prophecy. Remember prophecy. Let me get one more precept, I believe. I could probably get two more precepts after that, honestly speaking, but I just say. I could do a part 2. I'll close off right now because I want to do a part 2 to it. So, stay tuned for part 2. Shalom. Yabashim Roshai, Bashim Makakodash, Brakatam. Shalom.